Making $3,025 trading Netflix. Welcome on into the recap. Let us cover Netflix. So on the $200,000 account, we made almost 2.6K. I made 339 roughly on a $25,000 account, and then 103 roughly on a $10,000 account. So things are they're doing their thing. This trade I entered, if I go back in time, I entered this bad boy on the 24th at 9:35 a.m. Eastern time, and I exited on the 29th. So what is it, like 5 days? So yeah, not too long of a trade. We're just kind of just letting it do its thing, and she kind of popped off. So this type of trade, or this specific trade, what did I put down here? I took this on the 1 day time frame. I got to change that. I must have been looking at Walmart or something. Maybe I was looking at a different stock. I don't know why I recall putting down the 1 day time frame on this, which I got to change because that's not correct. Yeah, it's a 4 hour time frame. So I took this on the 4 hour time frame, and as I'm looking at them now, I'm like, yeah, that was a great 4 hour time frame trade. So essentially, Netflix had earnings a couple days back on the 17th, I believe, and we had a nice move to the upside, great strength, awesome in a market that had been pretty weak, pretty beaten down. So I'm like, this is pretty strong, right? You then get I couldn't have asked for a better situation. Like when you give me a consolidation, literally right at the all-time high, it's like, thank you. Not that it's a guarantee by any means, because it's absolutely not. And there have been plenty of times where it is not a guarantee. But when I see setups like this, I know, absolutely trade that, because chances are this is going to be a good trade. And if it does work, we're going to get a pretty good move. And so we get the breakout here on pretty good volume. Now, the volume had been high after earnings, so it's tough to kind of gauge. I always like to look back to the left a bit and see how volume had been. So I see, we had a kind of a day on Wednesday, lower relative volume compared to the prior few. And then I see a bigger push in volume on Thursday. I go, boom, that's our trigger. That's our sign to get in. And then we had this beautiful candle. I mean, it's like, come on, it's just an absolute beauty. So I ended up getting in at, what was my exact entry? My exact entry was 1,073.20. So it was just north of the all-time high, and targeting 11.25 roughly, just shy of that, about by like 13 cents. And stop loss under the breaking candle low, which was right here at around 1,040, and let her go. So just kind of a clean one, nothing crazy, kind of did its thing and popped. These are a little bit riskier because, you take a 4 hour time frame, you go, okay, we could have an overnight gap down. It's possible, right? There's always that concern, but this thing popped off. You know what I was looking at? It was the PLTR trade. PLTR, that was the trade. Why I can't type? PLTR. That was the trade based off the daily time frame. Yes. So that's why I got it confused. That was the last trade. So yeah, Netflix making that pretty good. I'm going to go back and change that to 4 hour time frame. I'm not exactly sure how these have done, but how the 4 hour has compared. I'll probably do a mid-year recap at some point. Not right now. It's just not enough trades, dude. I'll be honest. I don't have enough trades to tell you, how data is shaken out and stuff. But I'll probably do a mid-year recap to kind of see how the different time frames are shaken out, and kind of go from there. I will say that the stats are a bit off this month. Not only just this will probably be the last trade of the month. I'll do a month recap here shortly. Probably I'll film it tomorrow because I'm going to be dipping on Thursday. But not the nicest in terms of stats. Obviously, we're down $2,000, which you'd say, oh my god, it's a lot compared to past months. Yes, because this is the first month trading with $200,000 account size. But this is really just one loss, essentially. It's like I lost one trade, essentially, is what this nets out to be. Like I net -1 R, if you're using R multiples. So yeah, I got one open trade that's still that's up. I haven't moved my stop loss to break even yet. It's not quite up that much, but I have about 2 weeks until their earnings, just about. Maybe about 2 weeks from tomorrow, maybe. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But overall, though, not a bad. A couple little things, but not a bad month, I'd say. Just kind of choppy early, You know, a lot of trades that I thought could be good just didn't work. And, you know, kind of a product of the volatility of the market, which is a good sign for me to kind of note that in the back of my head. Say, hey, we get some pretty big volatility. You know what? It's not when we have high probabilities. You know, we don't have high probabilities, so just don't play the high. They're lower probabilities, so it's one of those things where it's like if someone told me that there's a lower chance I'm going to make money on you know, this week than next week, then I would just say, okay, well, I'm not going to trade this week. I'm going to trade next week, and I'm just going to repeat that every year or every month. You know, if it repeats that often, and I'll just keep doing that. Like that's kind of the idea. And then like long term, bigger picture, large sample size, you come out on top, and that's all probabilities in my view really is. So. That's the recap, making just over $3,000 on Netflix. Pretty simple trade. Nothing crazy behind it, to be honest, man. It was just a 4-hour break. Got the breakout on the... Here. Got the breakout. All-time high. Relative strength. Go with the momentum. And that's it. I'll leave a link below to TradeZella. Code TC10 saves you 10%. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.